The most dangerous character in world literature, a bride with a cliffhanger. Scheherazade keeps a serial killer king from murdering her by telling a new story every night and stopping right before the ending. That's the raw power of a frame tale. The outer story sets the stakes, the inner stories do the work. Today, I want to show you how stories within stories travel from ancient courts and campfires to medieval Europe and straight into the Gothic imagination, and why this device still hits like a well-placed dagger. Quick definition so we're aligned. A frame tale is an outer situation that justifies and shapes the telling of one or many inner stories. A storyteller on a ship, a circle of friends escaping the plague, a pilgrimage with a prize for the best yarn. The frame tells you who's speaking, who's listening, and why these stories exist. Origins first. One early landmark sits in the Odyssey. Odysseus reaches the Phaeacians, and what does he do? He narrates his own wanderings to King Alcinous. The epic pauses, the hero becomes the bard, and we get a story inside the voyage we've been reading. Egypt does it too. In the tale of the shipwrecked sailor, a survivor recounts his island encounter with a giant serpent to his lord, a story told to teach nerve and prudence. The Westcar Papyrus? Court entertainers spin marvels for Pharaoh Khufu, you can hear the room. But the big engine likely revs up in ancient India. Collections like the Panchatantra pack animal fables into a teaching frame where a sage educates princes by nesting tale after tale. The Mahabharata layers narrators so densely a single episode can arrive third or fourth hand. Those techniques travel into Persian storybooks like the Tudi Nameh and into Arabic compilations, most famously, The Thousand and One Nights. Scheherazade is the frame tale goat. She tells a king a new story each night, breaks at a cliffhanger, and lives to tell another. Inside those tales, more storytellers appear who tell further tales. The structure is the theme: storytelling as survival, patience, and moral treatment. While the king listens, he learns. While she speaks, she buys time. Clean, cunning, relentless. By the 14th century, Europe makes the frame a social art form. Boccaccio's Decameron, 10 Florentines flee the Black Death, tell 100 stories in 10 days, and in the process sketch a society under pressure: grief, wit, lust, hypocrisy, resilience. Chaucer's Canterbury Tales turns a pilgrimage to Thomas Becket's shrine into a storytelling contest. Knight, miller, pardoner, prioress, each tale fits its teller. The chatter between stories, jokes, fights, corrections, becomes a second arena of meaning. The frame is the satire engine. Why bother with a frame? 5 quick reasons. It organizes variety. You can pack comedy alongside tragedy and make it feel coherent. It reveals character. People tell on themselves when they tell stories. It controls belief. A narrator in-world can be biased, deluded, or sharp, and we read accordingly. It builds suspense. A pause tale is a page-turner by design. It preserves orality. A frame recreates the circle of listeners inside the book, so you almost hear the breath between sentences. Jump to the 19th century, our home turf, and watch the frame go Gothic. Frankenstein opens with explorer Robert Walton's letters. Inside those, Victor Frankenstein narrates his downfall. Inside that, the creature tells his own education and misery, down to the cottager's backstory he overhears. Sympathy swings because the frame lets new voices seize the mic. We don't just fear the monster, we hear him. Wuthering Heights doubles the lens. Mr. Lockwood journals what housekeeper Nellie Dean tells him. Lockwood is obtuse, Nellie has loyalties. So we read for slant as much as for plot, piecing together the Earnshaw-Linton storm from filtered memory. That distance makes the book feel like a legend told by a fire that's burning low. And if you want excess, meet Melmoth the Wanderer. Charles Maturin stacks tales like Russian dolls, narrators within narrators, manuscripts inside confessions, inside prison cells, all circling a damned wanderer who keeps reappearing like a bad dream. The maze is the mood, claustrophobic, echoing, obsessed. Now, yes, overt frames fell out of fashion for a while. Modern readers often want to jump straight into the action, but the device never died. It reemerges when a writer needs scale or cunning. Dan Simmons's Hyperion does a Canterbury in space. Patrick Rothfuss uses an innkeeper's confession to braid present and past. David Mitchell layers voices in Cloud Atlas to make time itself feel like a nesting doll. Here's the real point. A frame tale is the oldest special effect in fiction. It turns reading into eavesdropping. It lets storytellers argue with each other inside the book while we listen. It makes us feel the gap between the telling and the told, the ache of time, the slippage of memory, the slyness of performance. And sometimes, as Scheherazade proves, it keeps the storyteller alive long enough to change a heart. So, your turn. Which frame narrator do you trust the least? Walton, Nellie Dean, The Pardoner, or Scheherazada's smooth operators? Or name your favorite story within a story and why it works. Drop it in the comments. If you learned something or you just like literature with secret trapdoors, subscribe for more. Until next time, keep your candles lit and your prefaces loaded.